Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Let's Debrief podcast.
I'm Jenna.
And I'm Ashley, and we are your hosts. And welcome to month 4 of us doing the podcast.
Of us being back doing the podcast.
Yes, of course.
We, if you don't count our breaks or anything like that, we've been doing it for a long time, probably over 2 years now.
Yeah, it's like the couples that broke up for 5 years and they're like, it's our 7-year anniversary.
Yeah. Well, we only stopped
But yes,
for...
it was 6. Well, I mean, I like doing it together. It was 9 months because we recorded in November, December.
Yeah. So we have been doing it over 2 years, but we've been doing it probably a year and a half. Okay.
And that is something to celebrate.
Yeah, it is. And you guys should just be praising us, praising the Lord.
You should be thanking us immensely for blessing you and sacrificing so much of ourselves to spend time together to record just for you.
And if you're wondering the sacrifice, it's us sitting in bed right now. We both have our drinks. We have a little Nerds gummy clusters.
I got ice cream, but I put it in your freezer, and I was like, well, I'm not going to have it during the podcast. So a little drive home delight.
Ooh, what kind did you get?
Cookie dough, of course.
I knew you would.
Yeah.
We went, so today we were just hanging out with the kiddos,
Getting the kids together.
having a little play date. Just kidding. They can't play together, but...
Monty and Silas just play together.
Yeah, but we had a little walk. It was very nice. We played in the stream. It's a nice day.
Spring has almost practically sprung.
Yeah, I feel like it's sprung then went backwards a few times. But
yeah, this is, I don't know if you ever feel like this, but when you go, we went to Florida for 2 weeks, and when you are on a vacation that's warm, I'm always it needs to be 20 degrees in Pittsburgh while I'm away, or it's not worth it.
Oh, yes.
And it was really nice here.
It was really nice. Yeah, it was super nice. And then this week it's been cold again, which I have been saying I think that is more depressing personally than when I am knowing winter's coming. It's December and I'm it's starting to get snowy and cold. I'm okay, this is what I was expecting. But I hate when it's March, April and it's been warm for a little bit and then it'll go back to cold. Or
Gotcha.
you have one warm day and then it's cold for another week. I will never forget when we were coming back. We came and toured this house before we bought it.
It's going to be 71 on Saturday.
No way. Wow. It was April 20th or something. And we came to tour this house and it was snowing, blizzarding. That's and crazy. I just remember being so depressed. And I was telling myself, try not to see the house in a negative light. Because it's so cold. And of course, when no one lives in the house, there's no utilities on. It was so just
freezing.
Dark and freezing and snowing. And I was it's almost May.
Why is it like this?
I think that's worse than just when you're going into winter.
Yeah, no, because you're all right, this is our fate. But yeah, you're it's done. We've made it out.
Warm, yeah.
And then it's just kidding. Luckily, I was just looking at it. We don't drop below 40 for the next week. So that's nice. There are times that's 43. Tomorrow's supposed to be 43.
Ugh, don't even say that to me.
Yeah, but Saturday and Sunday 74 and 71.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding.
Outside all day long. Cohen loves when we were in Florida, he just loved being outside and looking at trees. Aww. And just looking up at the sky.
It's so mesmerizing at that age because they can't do much, so they just love to look.
Just I'm acting like we're on video. I was looking up at the ceiling.
When Silas was little, we would literally just put him in the bouncer on our front step outside and just let him be out there, and he would be silent for hours.
I need to look at baby photos of Silas because I feel my brain can't remember 1 to 5 months of him.
Yeah.
It just feels like it disappeared from my memory. And I'm just he's always just been this little guy that he is now.
He kind of always has looked how he looks.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But it just happened so quickly. I think because I was caught up in preparing for my own baby. Monty I feel has looked the way she's looked for a while. And so I'm oh, Monty hasn't changed. And then I'm oh, Silas has changed so much, but I can't remember what he looked like.
There's a picture of him.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that was like a month and a half old.
Yeah. He looks very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so we had a little walk. We went in the stream. We threw some rocks in, jumped in some puddles, and then we went and got some pizza.
The best
pizza. And we tried to get some ice cream, but it was not open on Tuesday, which was very disappointing.
Very dumb.
So then Ashley and Cole went to Sheetz and got us some snackies, and now we're here.
Because one thing about me is I need to finish my night with a sweet treat.
I know. I was so disappointed. I was like, what am I going to do now?
Yeah. What will I munch on? But yeah, I have ice cream in the freezer that I'll definitely just have on the way home.
That sounds so
But
good.
I had my eyes set on ice cream because of the creamery, and then it was ripped away from me. I will say Monty reacted so well at it being closed. Like, she loves the creamery, and she ran up to the door and was like, Mommy, open it. And we were like, we'll get popsicles at the house.
We were like, it's closed. She definitely understands what closed is now.
Yeah.
So that's good at least. But she didn't bring it up again.
No. Yeah. She's so fun.
She is fun. She had kind of a hard day today, though.
Yeah. Tell them about the dinosaurs, because I think it's funny.
Oh, we went to this other restaurant that has like all these arcade games, and there was a dinosaur game. And then I told her tonight we're going to a restaurant. And I always tell her when we're going to a restaurant, what do we do when we get there? We sit and she says, wait for the food to come out. And so anyways, she kept saying like dinosaur. And I was like, I don't understand like why you're bringing that up. Like, I don't know what that means. And then finally I put two and two together that she thought like since it was a restaurant, it would have the dinosaur game.
He's just there all like, yeah.
And as we were sitting there, like you were sitting across from me, she looked up at me probably 10 different times and so nicely said, Mommy, dinosaur. And I was like, it's at a different restaurant, honey. She's like, oh. And then she would just eat her pizza again for a little bit, and then she would look at me again. Mommy, dinosaur. I'm like, not here.
Wrong one.
It's at another place.
That's so funny. Like, as a kid, like, just hearing, like, we're going to a restaurant, and they're just like, okay. Like, in their mind, they're like, that's probably the same place.
Yeah. Did you think when you were little, like, I used to always think, like, only one person had, like, the same name. Like, like, first names? Yeah, like, if my mom's name was Debbie, and, like, someone else was like, oh, yeah, that's Debbie, I'd be like, my mom. And they're like, no, different. I'm like, but only one person can be named Debbie.
I feel like I did think that. What also would really stump me was birthdays, where like my mom was like, yeah, my birthday is December blah, blah, blah. And I was like, so I'm older than you.
No,
because I'm November 26th, so I'm older than you.
Funny.
And she was like, no, like, we're different years. And I was like, no,
it's a year.
You're wrong.
That is so funny. Yeah, I definitely like thought that most things like that, probably that like you could only one person had each thing.
Yeah, that is funny.
Do you want to give us a little summary of your last month?
Oh, yes. What is new? We went to Florida. Yeah, we went to Florida like right not long after the last episode came out. Cohen had his first flights and he did so well. He's our little angel. On the way down there, we had like a later flight and he was just in the baby carrier the whole time. We didn't take a stroller through the airport at all because my parents got a stroller for their house in car seat. So I was like, I'm not bringing all this extra stuff.
Especially he's so small. It's not like he like needs.
No. And right so I just baby bore him like through the whole airport, and once we sat on the plane, he was lights out, which also I didn't know. Maybe you did. I did a quick Google search literally as we were taking off. But if a baby is sleeping, you don't need to wake them to feed them for their ears.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't either, and I didn't do it, and he was fine.
Yeah, I've never had one of my kids already sleeping before takeoff.
That's
like
very fair.
I always was like feeding them right at takeoff, and then they would be like drifting.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the perfect. It starts moving, and then it like makes
that
white
and the
noise,
sound and
then
everything.
They're drinking their milk. They're like, goodbye.
Here I go. Yeah, I think like on the way out there, we definitely like maybe not woke him, more of like a dream feed of like just gave him a bottle, and I was like, okay, like go to sleep. And then he drank a little bit and he was like completely fine. So he literally slept the entire time. I think like 20 minutes before we were landing, he like kind of started to stir awake, and I was like, "Are you hungry?" And gave him my boob, and he ate until landing. And so I was like, well, that took care of that. Like, I didn't have to do it. Like, he was sucking on something while we were descending, so that was nice. And then on the way back, it was like an afternoon flight, and he slept for some of it, and then he woke up, and I'll post some of the videos and like photos of him, but he was just so happy and so smiley, and I was like,
is that the one with the picture of him with his tongue out?
Yes.
So cute.
And so I was just like, okay, like he's chilling. And then I fed him, and then I think he went back. That was when I like had Googled it. He went back to sleep before we like landed, and I was like, okay, like, so
mission accomplished.
So yeah, like we're going to Hawaii at the end of April, and this was kind of like a trial. I mean, obviously we wanted to go to Florida, but this was like a trial run because it was a pretty short flight. Yeah, like, and we're taking like short flights to Hawaii, so like we're going to California first and spending the night, and then the next day we're going to Hawaii, but we're like fly somewhere I think within California still as like our first layover, and then fly to Hawaii, so that'll definitely be the longest. And then I'm very interested to see how he does, but the way back is a red eye, and so it'll be overnight.
Okay.
But so far so good. I don't want to jinx anything. Like he really is just a straight chiller. Like,
he's an angel, truly.
He really is. And so
since we both have boys now that are both really chill, I'm like, is it a boy thing?
I wonder, like, they're chill now and then they're gonna like wreak havoc later.
I mean, Silas is really starting to wreak havoc now.
Yeah.
On himself, because
just trying to kill himself.
He literally, if I let him be, like, would probably die. I'm not kidding. Because he will, like, he's just standing, falling.
You feel climbing. Like this is much worse than Monty when she was this age?
I don't think she's ever fallen in her life. I'm literally not kidding.
Very true. She was very cautious.
Like, she wouldn't do something until she was fully capable of doing it. She didn't walk till she was 20 months.
Yeah.
That's for any moms out there who like their kids are behind on milestones.
Did she, I feel like we said this.
She did it eventually.
Yeah, we said this earlier. Did she like she was always on every milestone except that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. She did everything on normal time, and then the walking, she was too scared.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, she would never, like, when she started like pulling herself up to stand and stuff, she would be so cautious, and then like she would carefully sit herself back down and then like be completely like fine. I'm not kidding. Like, she has never fallen.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely believe that, because she refused to walk, but let me tell you, she was efficient on her knees. Like,
oh my gosh,
she would zip across the room so fast, on her knees.
It would be so loud, and like I'd be like, that has to hurt you.
Yeah, and you just want to tell her there's a simpler way.
I know, she just wouldn't do it, and then one day she just did.
I will never forget, we were over one time, and she was like, yeah, slowly but surely learning, but she wouldn't do it like all the time. And Tanner said, "Monty, walk." She fully got up and sprinted across the room.
I forgot about that.
And I was like, oh, and he said, "See, she does it. Like, she just doesn't want to."
She was too scared. And then, yeah, she just did it when she was ready. Crazy stuff, man.
It's so funny. But yeah, Florida was good, and the sun was nice.
Soaked up the sun.
Cohen obviously went to Disney for the first time. He slept through everything. He slept through fireworks shows. He slept through rides that I would like, literally, I mean, there's at Disney or at Magic Kingdom, there's a lot that he can go on that it's like kid friendly. Like, for him, I don't think he was awake for one thing.
Really?
Yeah, Cole and I kept being like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go on this ride because like he can go on it." Nope, it was just for us.
It's so funny. I've said this before, even I think on the podcast, how like you get so excited for that stuff, and then they're just so young, and you're just like, I kind of imagined this differently, like them being stoked about it. I remember taking Monty to the zoo when she was 6 months old and being like, I just can't wait for her to get to the aquarium. Like, she's going to be obsessed. And then we got there and she just like fell asleep because it was dark. She was in her stroller.
She was like, this is nice.
And I was like, why aren't you like
why aren't you freaking out?
so excited and like jumping up and saying yay? And then I'm like, oh, because you're a baby.
You're just a baby. Yeah. And I mean, I feel like I've seen like TikToks of like couples being like, take them when they're young, like they might not remember, but you will. And to people that are thinking of going with a 3-month-old, like if what we were paying, like we do pay to get and we have passes though, like it would have not probably been worth it. But because my parents live nearby, it was like just a nice way to escape for a little bit for like warmer weather. But yeah, I would have never paid to go to Disney with a 3-month-old.
Yeah. Unless like you were just like, I really want to go.
Yeah. But I mean, it is really nice. They have like a system, it's called like rider switch. And one person will go like through the ride and like wait in the regular line. And then once they are done, the next parent can swap out and you get to go through like the expedited line.
Oh.
And so it's like you get basically to wait half the time.
That's very nice.
And someone gets to stay with the kid.
That's very nice.
So Cole and I did that like a few times when my parents like weren't there with us. But yeah, anytime my parents were there, they're like, "We got him. You go. You go ride rides together. You got this." But
it's probably nice after being pregnant for so long, not getting to do stuff.
Oh my! I actually meant to post photos. All of my ride photos are so funny. I was like, it's giving. I've waited 9 months to do this. I just look so excited. I'll see if I can pull it up in time. But yeah, it was a lot of fun and just good vibes all around. Let's see. Look at me in this one. I'm in the back. Just like smiling so hard.
Smiling ear to ear.
It's so excited. And then yeah, like that one's like zoomed in. But like hands up in the front row. I was just very excited. Okay, last one.
Wait, do you like to put your hands up on roller coasters?
I will sometimes. There are other, like there are specific roller coasters, like Space Mountain is like really tight and it literally feels like your arm is going to get chopped off because like you can see like the rails like around you and stuff. So on that ride I'll be like and like put my hands down pretty quickly. But do you think it
like makes you like have more fun when your hands are up?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
You're like, because I don't.
I this is like so depressing. Like I cannot even go on like a merry-go-round. I can't even go on like the easiest thing on earth. Like I will throw up.
I remember
it is horrible.
I think was there like a Church Kennywood day? Yep. Did you take like a bunch of medicine to try to be able to go on stuff?
Yeah, and I was like so out of it. I was like sitting on the ground like during the line and
Did you do the steel curtain with us? Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like sick still, even though I took this is probably like bad, but I think I took like double Dramamine, like the amount you're supposed to.
No wonder you were out of it.
Yeah, I was young and didn't understand that wouldn't. I was like, oh, double the protection.
That'll help me more.
Yeah. Then I was like, Tanner, why do I feel weird?
Why do I feel weird? Tanner, help me. Yeah, that was pretty much been my month, I guess. We were in Florida like.
You've been gone most of this time, truly.
Yeah, and then we came back and got right back to work. So,
yep.
Yeah, it's been good. Yeah. What about you?
Well, I've had quite an eventful month.
Have you?
Yes, I really have.
Tell me.
Well, first, I think I said this right whenever we were leaving, but we went to Nashville.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I was going to say your first trip. That's not true, but you drove.
Yes, we drove.
Which is pretty bold with 2 young kids. And I feel like you guys really aced it.
We did. Honestly, I was like so proud of the kids. Here's the thing about flying from Pittsburgh. So our house is like an hour and a half to an hour 45 from the airport. Mm-hmm. Like it's only like 50 minutes to your house, but to the airport, it's like almost 2 hours. And if there's traffic, it's 2 hours.
You're screwed.
So getting there, leaving our car there, obviously, because, you know, the car seats and all of that, you got to take your car. So leave your car there, go through security, which the Pittsburgh airport security has been nuts recently.
You gotta
Do you
get
agree?
pre-check.
I can't, Ashley. I can't.
I'll walk you through it one day.
No, I tried before I had kids, and now that I do have kids, I can't.
But it automatically gives it to you, like gives it to your kids.
You have to go to an interview.
Yeah, and they literally say, "Is your name Jenna?" And you say yes, and they're like, "What's your social?" And you say this, and they say, "Have you ever done anything?" And you're like, "No." And then they say, "Okay, like cool." Like,
well, that was the thing I couldn't get past, is that I didn't want to go to the interview.
Oh yeah.
Not that like I was like nervous about it or something. Like I didn't want to go.
Okay.
So,
all right.
anyways, going through security, then waiting, getting there early, waiting with the kids, going on the flight. Then after the flight, experienced this in Colorado, like getting there, getting on the freaking shuttle to your rental car with your kids, their car seats, the stroller, the suitcases, all of that stuff, going to the rental car, waiting in line there, getting that, installing the car seats in the rental car, driving. It's honestly,
it has to be the longest day of your life.
So much easier to drive.
Yeah. Which I didn't even like you. I think you guys, when we were over last, I was like, "Oh, have fun in Nashville. Like, when's your flight?" And Tanner was like, "We're driving." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that." And you're like, he was like, "Yeah, we want to have our car." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." But also then hearing that side of it, I'm like, 10,000%.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the day start to finish is probably the same amount of time.
Oh, or longer flying.
Yeah.
Truly. And also the thing that we like about driving is that no one else has to witness the chaos except us.
Yeah.
But so Tanner's parents gave us these screens that hooked up to a portable DVD player, and I went to the library and got a bunch of Daniel Tiger and Little Bear DVDs, and let's just say they were happy in the car, okay?
Monty had a cozy little setup.
Monty had a blankie. It was great. It honestly went so well, and I was just so proud of them. Anyways, so we went there to visit my best friend Nika. She has 2 kids the same age, and we just had a great time. We were, just having little play dates, going out. I just said I wanted to see her, hang with the kids, and like eat good food and drink good coffee. And so we had a great time. The one day, though, this is my interesting story for you. So the one day me and Nika decided to have like a little girl time and just have us. Our husbands had the kids, and we were like, let's go have like a little cocktail at like one of these bars that was in the more main area of Nashville. Okay. This was on Saturday. So there was a lot of like groups of people out who were drinking. There was like a lot of bachelorette parties, things like that. So let me just say that as the preface to the story. So we're out, and again, we were just like wanting to just like have one little cocktail and just like have 2 hours of girl time. Mm-hmm. So we go in, we have our drink, and we were parked like pretty far away from the bar that we were at. And so we're walking.
Which is very like Nashville.
Yes, it was. Yes. And like, again, as we're walking, like it's pretty crowded, even though it's just like the daytime. It's like there's a lot of people out drinking at this time, like, and they're actually drunk. And so we're walking, and I don't know why I just like completely blanked on going to the bathroom, like when we were at the actual bar. And so I'm just like, Nika, I don't know if I'm gonna make it like to the car. And she's like, it's, first of all, even if I make it to the car, I'm like,
I'm not making it home.
There's no bathroom in the car. So I'm like,
in case you
Nika,
didn't know.
I really have to pee. And if anyone knows me in real life, or maybe I've talked about it on the podcast, probably have.
Definitely.
I am the most shameless peer of all time. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm completely good with like peeing in public, and I actually prefer peeing outside.
I was gonna say I prefer to do it.
I prefer peeing outside, actually.
Like in the woods?
Yes.
Like I was like, there's no way you're gonna say that like about like a city.
No. In the woods. Or okay. Like, yeah. Like say I'm outside in my yard, I would rather just pee right there than walk inside and go to the bathroom.
I just feel like as a woman it's so messy.
Not for me.
You're better than us all.
I got something special going on down there. So
I got something
anyways,
special.
I'm like, I'm gonna have to pee in this alleyway, and she's like, okay, whatever. So we go in this alley, and I just squat down and pee, whatever, everything's fine. Next thing
That's
I know,
your toxic trait.
I actually have that written down as my
Okay.
toxic thing. Next thing I know, I see a little blue and red light.
No.
Yep.
Oh, no.
And I hear the little whoop, whoop, and I'm like, okay, that's probably just like
Surely.
not off in the distance. Okay. I stand up, shake it off a little bit, and I see a police officer approaching me. And he says, ma'am, this is illegal. I kind of blacked out at this part.
No, that's fair.
Because I was just in shock. Anyways, he was obviously under the impression that I was drinking.
Yeah.
And that I was peeing in public.
Because I was.
Because I was. And that's illegal.
Yeah.
Like
You're indecent.
Yes. So he has me take the breathalyzer.
Oh my gosh.
And he sees that I'm not drunk. So, I was like, okay, that's going to be good enough. And he says, unfortunately, it doesn't matter if you were drunk or not. You're going to have to come,
shut up,
down to the station, basically. And he
How many
pulls
people are
out
okay,
his handcuffs.
And you're like, no.
And I'm like, you don't have to handcuff me, sir. I'm a mother of 2.
I promise.
I will come to the station willingly.
What's Nika doing right now?
Just standing there.
Just letting it happen.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay. So anyways, he takes me out of the station. It was pretty close by. I had to ride in the back of the police car. Like a criminal. Nika went in her own car, and she's like
Is she calling Tanner? Yeah.
Yeah, telling them what's happening. And I'm just like, what on earth is this? So anyways, I go down to the station and everything, and I thought that I was gonna be arrested.
Like, did you literally think you were spending the night in jail?
Yeah, which I didn't have to. It ended up just being that I was gonna have to pay a fine, which I was gonna fight it, but then I found out like I would have to be
in Nashville
to fight it in person. So I ended up just having to pay a fine. It was a lot.
Tell us.
What's your guess?
I was gonna say like $500.
It was $700.
Oh.
But if I didn't pay the fine, I would have had to stay.
Oh yeah, you were like, where do I sign?
Yes. So, anyways, that was my April Fool's joke for the podcast.
Happy April Fools. We're so lucky that this podcast comes out on April 1st.
Yes.
Jenna, I'm actually scared of you. That was really good. I don't know how many times you've lied to me in our friendship, but holy crap,
You
that
thought
was
it was
good.
good?
I thought that was so good.
This whole time I'm like, oh, I'm horrible at this.
I really hope Nika's listening to this and she's like, what? What? No, that didn't happen.
I'll have to send it to her.
Oh, that's funny.
No, Nashville was like
No part of that story was true.
Yes.
Maybe she did pee. Who knows?
Nope, I did not pee actually on this trip, but no, we didn't. I consumed 0 alcohol on the trip. We did so we were staying in an Airbnb. We didn't stay with Nika, and it was like perfect. I don't want to say perfect. I loved it because the time change, it was like an hour earlier. So like the kids normally go to bed around 7. They went to bed around 6 every night. And I would just put them to bed and just go to sleep. And then Tanner would go hang out with, I'm so sorry. He would go hang out with our friend Nachi, who also lives in Nashville, in the evening.
Yeah, for boy time.
Yeah, so that was great and perfect. But yeah, we had a very wholesome and good time. And that leads me into then what happened next, which was the last day that we were there. Monty started...
This is a true story.
This is true. Monty started sneezing and getting the heavy-eyed look. And I'm like, oh man, this is not good. And gets super fussy and clingy and like just is like not having it. And I'm like, okay, we're leaving tomorrow morning, like it's fine. The next day she got a fever as we were driving back, which it honestly like kind of worked out in our favor because she was like very lethargic, and so
all she wanted to do was lay.
Yeah, she was just in her car seat. I like reclined it back. I actually stole this is true. I actually stole a blanket from our Airbnb.
Oh, like on and purposely?
Yes, because it was the comfiest blanket I've ever felt in my life.
You're like, find me.
And I was like, I want her to have something cozy in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, yeah, do you think they'll notice? And Tanner was like, no. So I stole it. They were like, their house was the biggest, most beautiful house I've ever seen in my life, and this was an apartment over their garage, so they're fine to lose one fuzzy blanket. Wait, I totally forgot to add this in. So the last day she was like really getting like snotty and stuff, and she has this issue. My doctor told me she should grow out of it soon, but like at night when she's laying down, when she's congested, if she like starts like kind of coughing, she'll like throw up from it because she says their sinuses aren't fully developed, and like,
oh, that's so sad.
So the last night that we were there, she threw up like
everywhere,
all in the bed that me and her were sleeping in, and it was just like so stressful. And I was just like,
having that happen in general is stressful, but then having that happen when you're not home, you know, where nothing is, you're like, is there backup sheets? I don't know. Like, yeah, that sounds awful.
Yeah, luckily sorry if anyone is like grossed out by like throw up stuff, she kind of like did like that sound, and I like grabbed her out of the bed really fast. Shoop. And there was only like one like blanket that it was kind of contained on, and then there was a washer and dryer there, so I put it in the wash and just like left it. But so she threw up on the night before, but like she didn't have like a stomach thing or anything. It was just from like gagging on the mucus. So anyways, next day she had a fever, but then we got home and she was fine. The next day, no fever, completely fine, no more snot, nothing. It was like super warm. We were outside like the next 2 days, just thriving. Everyone was great. Next day, Silas gets so sick. Aww. And I have never seen
a sadder
baby. And he's never had a fever before. And so like he was so miserable. Like he was screaming his head off. And then he would just like fall asleep in any position for like 15 minutes. And then like wake up and scream for like 20 minutes. And then like fall back asleep like a newborn. Like just out in the open. Like I would be holding him like sitting up and his head would just flop over.
Oh, sweet guy.
It was so sad. And he was so miserable. And then that same day, Monty started like screaming again. And I was like, is she just jealous of him? Because she had no more symptoms. Mm-hmm. And I was like, is she still feeling sick? Is she jealous that I'm like holding him all day? Like, what is going on? And I'm so overwhelmed. So that night, Silas had to sleep in our bed. He's never slept in our bed before. And he was like on Tanner's chest because he was so hot. He was burning up and just miserable. And that night, everyone knows Monty's not a good sleeper, but she usually like the worst case scenario, she's like up and like like tossing and turning for like an hour. That's like the worst it's been in like at least the past 6 months.
Yeah.
She screamed at the top of her lungs for over 5 hours.
Oh my.
I did everything. I brought her downstairs. I let her watch TV. I gave her I read books to her. I did everything in my power, and she could not stop screaming for 5 hours. It was so insane. And like I couldn't come ask Tanner for help because he had Silas sleeping on him down here. So then the next morning she wakes up and she's screaming again. She's screaming nonstop. And I'm like, what is wrong? Finally, she just says, Monty's ears hurt. I'm like, you should have said that right at the beginning.
Girl, we should have started with that.
So she has never had an ear infection. I took her to the doctor, and like they immediately were like, oh yeah, it's pretty bad. And I was like,
what causes an ear infection?
I think it's like just something with like drainage.
Okay.
Something like that. Sorry, I completely forgot to add this in. Is that so the next morning when she says, Monty's ears hurt, that exact moment, I hear Tanner run into the bathroom and start vomiting.
Oh, yeah. This was very important detail.
Vomiting. I have never seen him throw up in 13 years.
Oh, my gosh.
That's crazy. Never thrown up. And he was puking nonstop. And Silas is screaming. Monty's screaming. They're both so sick. And then now Tanner's throwing up.
You're like, no, my last line of defense.
So now I'm like, Tanner, what's going on? He's like, I'm so sick. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, I have to take her to the doctor. Like, I need to get antibiotics in her so fast.
Mm-hmm. Because also they said it hurts when you have an ear infection to lay down.
Yes.
And so she's not resting because it hurts so bad.
Yes. And it was just so horrible. So anyways, I end up taking both of them to the doctor by myself, and we get the antibiotics, whatever. And so Tanner is like, it's like a 24-hour thing. I'm like on my own with 2 sick kids. I cried the whole day. And then finally, both the kids started to feel a little bit better. I'm like, okay, we're getting out of the woods. Tanner starts to feel a little bit better. Then I get it. The puking.
Dun, dun, dun.
The puking.
Not the
nonstop.
puking.
And it's just absolutely horrible. Let me also add that Tanner and I both had the little bit of a cold that the kids had. Then my cold turns into the worst sinus infection I've ever felt in my life. I've gotten many sinus infections. This one was debilitating.
Ugh.
And so I was just like out of commission. I felt like the worst mom on earth. The kids just like wanted me. They were recovering and I was just like unwell. And then like since then, I'm not kidding. Like, you know how COVID like made people's like smell be messed up forever?
Mm-hmm.
I swear Tanner and I's taste buds are like messed
all
up.
over the place.
I have never drank a coffee again.
Since then?
Yeah, I can't. It's disgusting to me.
No.
Completely disgusting. I cannot drink it. And Tanner's the same. He's like, would not drink coffee. He finally had one like the past 2 days, but he's like, I don't really like it.
No, not your one love.
Yes. So we've really been going through it.
You literally, yeah. I mean, obviously you said that that showed up in when you got back from Nashville, but I feel like literally, because like we left the same time for our trips, kind of, and like you were in Nashville, I was in Florida, and I feel like legitimately you were sick the entire time I was in Florida.
100%.
Like I feel like when it almost like we haven't seen each other since the last time we recorded, which was like at the beginning of the month, because like obviously we were gone, but I feel like it worked out that way because we couldn't have come to see you anyways because you guys were so sick.
So sick. Yeah, it was horrible. But I told Tanner we hadn't been sick the entire winter, so I guess we deserved this.
At least you got it all. Honestly, I mean, obviously you guys ended up all getting different things, but at least like it's done, hopefully. Like it traveled through all of you. You don't have to worry about like Silas getting it from what Monty had like down the road. It's like, I feel like I would just rather prefer that. I'm like, let's get this over with.
And it's so weird, the stomach thing. My mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, my sister, my mom, and dad all got it from us. But the kids never got it.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Little kids throwing up has to be the saddest thing ever.
For them.
Yeah. Like every time that you've told me about like Monty throwing up, I think it was the first time that she did that when you guys were like home and because of the mucus. And she's like screaming because she's terrified. Like so scared. Terrified. And I'm like, yeah, I'm an adult and I'm still scared. I've only been comfortable with throwing up now because of pregnancy.
Yeah, literally. And it like makes you feel better when you throw up.
Yeah, you're like, let's just get this over with. Like, I want it to be done. So you've been going through it this month. Yeah,
but you know what? It has not taken me down.
Yeah.
Mentally. Like,
just think of how last winter prepared you.
It did. God really just uses those hard times to get you ready for the next thing.
You wouldn't have been ready for this winter if you didn't have last winter. Let's praise
God,
him.
we believe. Okay. So our topic today is going to be toxic or tolerable. I stole this idea from That's the Point podcast. That's actually my favorite podcast.
I know. You've told me to listen to it. I need to add it to the rotation.
It's so good,
But
actually.
I only listen... Well, that's not true. I was going to say I only listen in the car with Cohen. And I feel like him and I are just really rarely ever just in the car together. So... But I've been listening around the house, too.
Yeah. So they did this, and they don't ever do listener submissions. They just talk to each other.
Oh.
But so they gave each other like things that they do, or just like kind of like things in general. One of their examples was, I remembered this. She was like, say you go over to someone else's house and they make you dinner, and then they say like, is there anything I could have done to make this, like, should I have added anything to this meal? Is it toxic to say like, yeah, you could have added more salt or something like that, or just say no, it was so good?
It depends on, like, if it was the blandest thing I've ever had, I feel like I would probably be like, maybe like, oh, some salt, like, would have been so good. Like, so, but if it was like, I am satisfied, no, I'm singing their praises, like, all day long. Yeah.
Do you think it's toxic to ask that?
It's toxic to ask that if you're not expecting an honest response.
Really?
If you're going to go quiet afterwards because you're like, okay, clearly nobody liked it, that's toxic.
Okay.
I feel like you set me up.
Yeah.
But, like, there have been times that I feel like you have been like, no, genuinely tell me what you think. And I'm like, okay. Like.
Okay, it sucked.
Okay, now that you said something, hated it.
I forced it down my gullet.
My gullet.
So anyways, that's kind of an example, but we got listener submissions, and also, did you write some down for yourself that you do?
I feel like I was gonna just think of it on the fly. I was kind of thinking of it, and there were like a few to
you're unprepared.
I am unprepared. My toxic trait.
I have a bunch written down.
Okay.
Should I say mine first, or
sure. We'll just say, like, maybe we can popcorn like back and forth.
Well, my first one was peeing in public.
Yes.
I love to pee in public, or just pee out in the open, but I would like to extend that to, so you can tell me if this is toxic or tolerable. I would pee with the door open with, like, anyone in the house. I really would, but I don't. But I do pee with the door open if, like, my dad's around or my mom. Like, at my parents' house, if it's just, like, Tanner, my mom, my dad, my sister, I will pee with the door open.
I don't think that's toxic because I don't pee with the door open, like, when everyone's around, but, like, I pee with it cracked. Like, I won't go... Jenna's drinking, if you can hear her.
Sorry, I didn't mean to make that sound.
But, like, I'll leave it cracked where it's, like, I don't fully, like, close the door because I'm just... And there have been sometimes Cole comes around the corner and he was like, your parents are, like, around. And I'm like...
They're my parents.
Yeah, like, but, yeah, like, fully open... I mean, if you got up and left, like, where everybody was, they know that you're peeing. So, like, who cares?
Yeah. Also, like, yeah. I just, like, don't think it... I think that peeing is just, like, specifically for women. Like, men, it's different because they're literally standing there with their peep out.
Peep.
But, like, for women, we're sitting down. You can't see anything.
No, not at all.
To me, I don't know why it's, like, this private thing.
Yeah, that's fair. My toxic,
one?
Yeah, I thought of one. I think I saw this I saw this, like, prompt or something along the lines on my breastfeeding Facebook group. And my toxic trait is sitting in a breastfeeding session longer than I actually need to. So, like, if Cohen and I are just upstairs, then I'm like, wait, Cole, can you get me this?
You're
wait,
like,
Cole,
he's eating.
and I my show, like,
I can't.
Like, yeah, like, I'll just kind of chill on the couch, and, like, he could be, like, dead asleep, but I'll be, like, scrolling TikTok, and I'm just like, can you get me a snack? And of course, totally, because I'm feeding our child, he's like, oh my gosh, of course. I, like, told him that I was gonna say that, and he was like, honestly, based though. Like,
I mean, yeah.
He's like, who cares? What's another one?
My next one was, like, so the other day we were at this coffee shop, and there was, like, this family with a bunch of kids sitting at a table. Monty just dragged her chair over and, like, sat at the table with them and just started talking to them. And I'm like, always gonna let my kids do stuff like that, or, like, go up to random people and talk to them or whatever. And I feel like some people think that's toxic. They're like, get your kid.
It depends on the vibe. If I feel like she, like, it looks like she's walking into an unwelcoming thing, I mean, I would like let her say hi and everything. And if they're like not even acknowledging her, which again, you're the problem if you're not acknowledging an adorable little 2-year-old. But if, yeah, they're like not engaging, I'd be like, okay, can you say bye? Like, thanks for talking. Like, but no, I feel like that's literally, they're learning how to become a human.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, that's not toxic.
Yeah, I agree. But I feel like some people would be like, get your kid.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I agree. There was one time Joe let Farrah run around like a restaurant. Like it was like it was at Bakery Square. So there's like a bunch of restaurants and stuff. Mm-hmm. He just let her do laps and he was like, she's figuring it out.
Yeah.
And every time she walked past a table, they were like, hi. Like, yeah. People should love kids.
They really should.
I was going to say, I was kind of talking to Cole about this. I'm going to get a lot of judgment for this, and I'm interested to see your reaction. But my toxic trait is that I think I never really do anything wrong.
Really?
I am very quick, I feel like sometimes I'm quick to, like, say, like, if I hurt someone's feelings, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't mean it like that, or, like, whatever. But usually when assessing a situation, I'm just like,
You're right.
I couldn't have done that any better.
I think that's, like, probably the human condition. Like, most people probably think that they didn't.
It's probably an older sibling thing, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, most people think what they're choosing to do is right. That's why they do it. Mm-hmm. So.
And when situations, like, work out, I'm just like, well, duh. Like,
that's what I said to do.
Because I did that, like, yeah. So I'm aware that's actually very toxic because.
I don't think it is.
You don't think so?
I think you should, like.
I'm open to being told that I did something wrong. Like, yeah. I always hold a listening ear, but just know, usually I'm like, I'm never wrong.
Well, no, I think it's good to be, like, confident in your decisions, though.
Yeah, that's true. I definitely have a lot of confidence.
I definitely am. And I am.
And I hold space for a lot of confidence.
We're holding space.
That was probably the last one that I had off the top of my head.
Okay, I have 3 more. Picking your nose.
Oh, yeah. I love picking my nose.
It's the greatest feeling.
Oh, it's so relieving. Picking your baby's nose, even better.
Normalized nose picking, seriously. Like, can you believe that? Is it real that people actually in their own homes will get a tissue?
Oh, I will only get it. Sorry in advance. Get a tissue if it feels wet.
Yeah, like, and I need to blow it.
Yes.
But if it's like
a crusty,
a chunk.
No.
Oh, I love to get a chunk.
Get a chunk.
Okay. This is Tanner's toxic trait, and this is probably truly the thing that, I'm not kidding, infuriates me more than anything about him.
Ooh, I have no idea where this is going.
Sorry. Commenting on the smell of everything.
Oh.
In a negative way, 24/7.
Bad smell at beach at night.
He has the strongest smell on earth, and going back to the COVID thing, I swear, like, it's warped about things. Like, it drives me insane. He will walk into our house that, like, I just cleaned. This literally happened the other day. I just cleaned everything. And I used, like, this new, like, counter spray that I got. He comes in immediately. It smells bad in here. What is it? I'm like, it doesn't smell bad.
It's different.
It's clean. And I cleaned our house. And it's just a little all-purpose cleaner. Okay? You don't need to comment on the smell. He'll open the fridge. Why does it smell bad in here? I'm like, because, Tanner, I made broccoli and it's in a Tupperware. He's like, can you get it out? It's literally disgusting. Like, he hates the smell of anything.
Yeah, I've witnessed this.
The other day we were having someone over and we were vacuuming the floor. He's like, Jenna, the vacuum is making things smell horrible in here.
Cole also hates a vacuum smell.
And it makes me feel so insecure because I'm like, am I not smelling it right? Like, I'm just always freaking stressed about the smell because of it.
No, that would drive me up a wall. But yeah, it's so funny.
It's toxic.
It is.
You agree it's toxic?
Oh, yeah, it's toxic. Literally can't do anything about it. But, I mean, to be fair, he could listen or he could smell it and not comment on it.
Exactly. And I'm just like, just because you don't like the smell of something, like, for example, if I make, like, vegetables in the oven, he, like, thinks it smells really bad. I'm like,
who cares?
Okay, but
it tastes
I
fine.
want to eat it.
Yeah.
So
salmon doesn't smell great, but it's good for you and you should eat it.
And it tastes amazing.
Yeah,
that's another thing. He does not like if salmon is like in the fridge, or like if I just cooked it, he's like, why does it smell bad? And I'm just like, please, I'm eating it.
You just need to have the windows open 24/7. Just be like, it's the outside. I don't know what to tell you.
Even that, he would be like looking like outside, like digging with a shovel. He'd be like, where's the smell coming from?
I said bad smell at beach at night when she said that because when we were in Hawaii, he was sleeping in a hammock.
He wasn't sleeping. He was awake because the smell was so bad that he couldn't fall asleep. So meanwhile, none of us had ever smelled it or detected it whatsoever.
Literally, like, I mean, we were sleeping in the van, but and like Jenna was in a hammock too, though, and
Brett.
Yeah, and he asked them in the morning, like, did you smell that?
It's like, I got no sleep because I smelled the smell.
The smell was so bad. He said, I even Googled bad smell at beach at night to try to figure out what it could be.
And it said something.
It was like an algae or something. It was like,
yeah.
It can be like common for like this algae to wash up or whatever. And he was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't sleep. It was awful.
He's plagued with it. Okay, so that was one of them. Obviously toxic.
Oh, you want to know Cole's toxic trait?
Wait, yeah.
This is, yeah, it's like toxic but not toxic. He, once he gets set on a project, he cannot, no matter what, stop until it is complete.
You told me about this
and before. You would think, Ashley, why would you be complaining about that? Because nothing else in the world matters. Eating, plans that we already had, like responsibilities that he had committed to already. He's like, I need to build the IKEA dresser. And I'm like, I know, like,
he's
like the way
he's peeing himself. He's wearing a diaper.
I have to do it. But like,
get me the diaper, Ashley.
He's like this is a perfect example. Like this wasn't a real one, but like situations like this have happened before. Like we could be going to dinner with Jen and Tan, and I'm like, we go to IKEA, and we in the past, like when we were dating, we went to IKEA and he got some bookshelves. And we could come back with the bookshelves and be like, okay, we have to leave in 30 minutes for dinner. And he's like, okay, I'm just going to build the bookshelves real quick. And I'm like, but why? And he's like, well, I just want it to be done. And I'm like, yeah, but like the project like wasn't like like it doesn't need to be done right now. He said, yeah, but I just would feel better if it was done. And I'm like, you still have to shower and change though. He's like, yeah, I'll have time.
Oh man.
To be fair, he is very quick. But situations like that have happened before where I'm just like, please.
But just do it later.
Just do it later. Like, because dinner is now.
Oh, that would make me, yeah. The last thing that I wrote down is, this is a recent toxicity of mine, is like finding those Instagram accounts that are like, this one's from Free People, but this one's from Amazon. And the Free People one is $164. The Amazon one is $28. And it's a dress that looks exactly the same. I'm like, I'm getting the Amazon dupe.
Of course.
But
seeking it out, you think that's toxic?
No, we were just talking earlier about how, like, it's bad.
The fast fashion of it all.
Bad. Yeah, the fast fashion of it all. Which, who knows if Free People is also fast fashion and whatever. But
I can't keep up, man.
I can't. One last thing before we read the submission that I forgot to say is going back to when my TikTok was hacked last month. Mm-hmm. They got my freaking bank account. Oh, yeah. I forgot to say that. They got my card from the TikTok shop that was saved. And they hacked me. And
did they actually get any money? Or
no, my bank blocked it. They spent like 2 charges of $164 at the freaking sex toy store. And my bank account said, girl, I know that you're not shopping there. So I went to the bank. You.
What if you had to go inside and you were like, that was mine. Why'd you block it?
I'm like, I've been trying to freaking buy this thing.
And you keep blocking it.
No, the lady was like, oh, yeah, if you use TikTok Shop, you need to like put it through PayPal or Venmo.
Oh, like don't put your card in there. Like people get hacked constantly.
Yeah. So
dang.
For anyone who was wondering,
I have never bought anything. Honestly, it kind of scares me.
Has hacked me. Tamoa is still active and live 24/7 on my account 1 month later.
Tamoa, you have won the fight, but not the battle.
Truly.
She doesn't know how to come back for revenge.
Oh man. Okay. let's just go through these so fast because I know you guys want to
hit the road, Jack.
Yep.
Okay, I'll start.
This is what you guys wrote into us. That is your toxic trait. We'll tell you if you're toxic or tolerable.
Yeah, we'll weigh in. We have the final say. Every week I put away last week's load of laundry before I can do another. Same. Yeah. Yeah, once there's two of them sitting, like two baskets sitting there, you're just like, well, I guess now's the time. Honestly, to hold the new pile of dirty clothes, I'm out of baskets. Same. So I'm like, one has to get updated.
Laundry is my number one worst, like, situation at my house. Like, our upstairs is just clothes everywhere.
Yeah.
Always.
It's a lot of people. Even with Cohen, okay, this I feel like would be considered, well, I don't know, some first-time moms especially, like, are like probably eye-twitching and everything. Did you ever separate Monty's clothes from your clothes?
No.
Okay, me neither.
Why would you do that?
Well, people say, like, do you just use a baby-safe detergent?
No, I just use normal detergent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're using a clean one in general, then it's like...
Yeah. I would like to also just say that every single one of these submissions, I'm pretty sure I do all of them. I'm the most type B person on earth.
Yeah, so to a fault.
Yeah, so I'm shocked that you guys think these things are toxic.
Jenna was like, why would you do like why would you think lifestyle. That that's just normal?
Okay, the next one is stupid. I'm not gonna read that. This one says, honestly, I never wash my car and hardly ever clean the inside. It's not dirty and gross inside, but also like no one really sees it but me. Yeah, girl.
Yeah, I feel like I felt much more pressure to keep my car clean when I was in my younger 20s because I was hanging out with friends and youth students were getting in my car, and like, so I was just like, oh, I want it to look better. I do want it to look nice, but when stuff's in there, I'm like, map, whatever.
My thing with the car is like, it's so hard when you have a kid that you're transporting in and out, and then you can't just leave them in the house alone.
Yeah.
So like,
then I'm gonna spend extra time.
Yeah, go back out and like get all the stuff. It just becomes too hard.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that. This saying I'll get off my phone at an O or a 0 or 5 mark. Like if it's 7:02, I tell myself I'll get off at 7:05, and then I miss the 5 and I have to extend till 7:10, and then I miss it again, and the cycle keeps repeating. That is kind of toxic, just relating to like the phone usage, but I 100% do the same.
Oh, for sure I do the same. Like I'll be like, oh, I need to go to bed. Okay, I'm gonna be off 9:45. Okay, I'm gonna put on my sound machine, and then I'm like, oh, it's 9:46 though.
The time has come and gone.
Totally not toxic and tolerable from my end. This person says, my toxic trait is that I don't think I have any.
This is Ashley. Me.
But my husband says that it's every time I want a little treat, I have a mental breakdown and convince myself I don't deserve it, but then I feel guilty for not letting myself have it. And that's on food trauma. We're healing out here.
Yeah, see, my toxic trait within that would just be like, I always think I deserve it.
And you do. And so do I.
Yeah. And you're not special for that.
And I've never denied myself a treat in my life.
There have been times, like, especially as I've become older, like, I've reasoned with myself. Like, I think my, like, treat out is always a coffee. I'm just like, oh, I want a little coffee. I want a little coffee. And then I'm like, especially now that we have the Breville, I'm like, you were 100% capable of saving this $7. Like, especially with how expensive getting coffee out is now, I'm like, you should want to not do this. Like,
yeah, it's crazy. I feel like you used to be able to go out and get a latte for like $2.50 before COVID.
Yeah. Every time I ask to do something outside of my job description at work, I ask what the compensation will be. That is on knowing your worth.
That's bold.
Yeah, that is bold. I like that.
I would love to know what industry you work in.
Yeah, for real.
If my husband decides to drag his feet on a project I want done, changing my windshield wipers, fixing the dining room chairs, hanging a gallery wall, I mentioned that my dad can probably just do it next time he comes over. Suddenly the tool belt is out and my projects are done.
That's great. That's not. Yeah, I was gonna say that's very tolerable. It's like
That's hilarious.
that's a way of getting things done.
Oh, you know what? I think my real daddy can come and do this.
Something tells me Daddy is much more capable than you.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Being absolutely insane during my luteal phase because I have PMDD and nothing helps me. What is PMDD again?
It's like premenstrual depressive disorder, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
I actually thought that I had that for a while, but I'm starting to think that I don't.
Maybe I was just fully depressed.
Maybe it was just my like postpartum.
Yeah, hormones still like figuring itself out.
Ashley, why? Okay. Why does it sometimes just reorder them in no...
I do not know.
I'm back though.
Okay.
I wear nursing bras that my breast milk has leaked into and hardened over multiple times before washing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nursing bras are expensive. Like,
yeah.
And I have 3 that I actually like.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're telling me I have to wear them, like I wear them 3 days in a row and then that's just it. I have to go do laundry again.
Yeah.
That's not toxic.
No,
that's
not
being
at
resourceful.
all. Yeah. I did all of these. This one, I feel in my most inner core of my heart. I know I just read the last one, but I'm going to read this one
But
too.
this one belongs to me.
If my leftover food gets moldy in the fridge, I refuse to open the Pyrex to clean it, so I throw the whole thing away.
This depends for me. If it genuinely is a Pyrex, Cole and I were talking about that, we're like, oh, those are expensive. Like, and especially if it's
like
glass.
The glass
yeah. If it's glass, I'm not throwing it away. But if it's plastic, I'm like, so you.
I have thrown away maybe a few glass ones just that have been really
if it was really
scary.
really bad, that's fair.
But mostly, yeah, I will always throw away the plastic ones because
who cares?
I get scared of it even after a few days.
Yeah, you're like, I can throw the food out and put it through the dishwasher, but I still know what happened in there.
I know what happened. When you were younger, like, did your parents have like a shiz ton of Tupperware?
Oh, I can't remember. I do now, though. I have so much.
Really?
Yes, against my will.
Oh my god, give it to me.
Actually, though, I will.
I have like none.
Okay, also, you've given me,
more.
like, when you made all of our meals and everything, you gave us so much. There is one that I don't want to give back to you because it was so nice.
You suck.
I will give you some, though, because, and like glass, too. My sister's boyfriend like practically lived with us the last bit of her living here, and he left behind so much stuff at our house, and it's glass and it's really nice, but Cole and I will do the dishes and we're like, where, like, if we clean out the fridge especially, so like basically all of the Tupperware is out, we're like, we have no space for all of this.
Ashley, please give me some. I'll take even the plastic.
Okay, we don't have much plastic left, but I'll give you what we got.
Well, when I was younger, my parents had so much Tupperware. No glass, all plastic. And they still have the same ones from when I was a kid.
Holy moly.
And they'll have, like, orange, like, the plastic is, like, stained orange.
The stories I could tell.
And I'm like, why do you have this?
Yeah.
Like, the moment, if I cleaned something out and then put it in the dishwasher and it was stained orange, bye.
Yeah.
Not keeping that.
And that's on privilege.
Please.
I don't know if it's actually 100% tolerable, but I'm excellent at quick, sarcastic, pointed jokes, but absolutely cannot take being joked about in the same manner. Yeah, that's fair. I don't know if it's toxic or not.
Me either.
I was gonna say yes.
You're just you're a sensitive girl.
You can't take it, but you can dish it out.
Okay, this one says, actually, my husband needing a list of things to do. Personally, I need a list to get everything out of my head of what needs done. My husband, if it isn't right there, he most likely won't do it or see it as an issue. I'll make a list of things for him to do while I'm at work. It's usually things I typically don't want to do around the house, and he will go through the list while I'm at work. A honey-do list is so helpful. Yeah, it might be one more thing for me to do, but it's actually eliminating 10 things that need done.
No, you've just found, that's not toxic. You found a way to communicate effectively.
Yeah, that's not toxic at all. I had never heard the term honey-do list until my mother-in-law will say, like, make me a honey-do list. And I'm
Oh,
like,
I know
cute.
her saying that, I was like, oh, she typed something wrong. Like, I was like, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, my mother-in-law will say that, and it's like, honey, do this.
Cute.
But it's like honey-do.
Honey-do. I go to sleep without washing my face or brushing my teeth multiple times a week.
I've never
Welcome
washed
to the club.
my face.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like I asked you.
I've never brushed my teeth.
I've never brushed my teeth. And I have no cavity, so what you gonna say? God, that would be disgusting. That would feel so gross.
I'm really big on teeth brushing, but I've literally never washed my face.
Yeah.
Maybe
I only wash my face really to take makeup off or when I'm in the shower. I'm a greasy girl.
Hey, if it works, it works.
Hey.
Getting a new glass every time I walk into the kitchen. Then by night, realizing I have used 5 cups sitting out.
Here's the thing. I have commented on every single one of these. I'm getting new drinks.
Yeah, they can't blend.
Yeah. So by the end of the night, I have a collection of 5 cups, but from 5 different drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You get it.
I have to have something coming up within the next few months to look forward to, or else life feels pointless.
I feel this
very tolerable.
Yeah, I feel that very, very heavy. Not responding to messages until I feel like it. We're expected to be way too accessible in this day and age. I'm getting more like that.
Yeah, I have like this weird thing where like if I'm not in the right mental space to respond, then I just don't, and then I realize it's been 3 months.
3 months is crazy. Here's the thing. I would call them out by name, but I have friends that are like perfectly fine with like seeing like something that you sent, and if it could be like a pressing question, and I'm like, well, just like, I know that they see it. I've watched them pick up their phone and put it back down, and I'm like, it's 2 seconds. What are you doing after work? Or
you want the response.
I want the response, but like if it's time sensitive. Like if I am standing in the middle of the store asking if you want 2% or whole milk, I need to know.
Yeah, see, I would just call them at that point.
Yeah, that's fair. But I do agree though. Like I agree.
Yeah. This one says I only bathe my kids twice a week. Same. Or
Same.
less.
I think Cohen only gets soap like every other week.
Yeah.
I must clean the entire house before having company over. There must be a charcuterie board that the works. I have to be a host even if it's close friends. It's a lot of work for me, but everyone else always enjoys it. But that means that that means whoever is living with me also has to help clean. Perfectionist maybe. Not toxic.
I love a host.
I love a host.
I love being hosted.
On that, like on a similar note, the other day, Cole, I was like telling him that I was like, like I've had like a few hours away from Cohen before, but like I would really like a day for me to decide what I want to do. And he was like, okay, cool, like yeah, go do whatever you want, I got this. And I went to a coffee shop for a little bit, and then I came back and I was like, I really want to like spend the whole day in the kitchen and like just I want to make like dinner from scratch and like all of this different stuff, because I have not done that since I was like 6 months pregnant. And he was like, yeah, like that sounds amazing, like, and it was nice to like also be home with Cohen so I could feed him and then like go right back. And he said like afterwards he was like, oh my gosh, like dinner was so nice. And our arrangement is whoever cooks dinner cleans, or sorry, whoever cooks dinner doesn't have to clean, the other person will clean, and it's usually I cook and he cleans. And he said, when I agreed to all of this, he's like, sometimes it's a little unfair if you're going to do a whole thing and like do multiple things, because it's a little unfair for the person that's cleaning, because you could have just gotten a box of pasta from the store. And
True.
I was like, no, that's like very true. And like, so I helped because I used every single dish in the house. And so to that extent, I'm like, if you have a setup like that, it's like, it's a little unfair to the person that has to help clean, but it's a flex that your wife is such a good host.
Of course.
So
I completely agree. This one says, I would use my husband's toothbrush without asking if I couldn't find mine. Yeah, I use my husband's toothbrush constantly.
We only take one toothbrush to travel with.
Same.
Because I don't know why it feels easier.
It is easier. Because,
Tolerable.
Yeah.
Okay. Totally capable, strong, independent woman when my husband isn't around. The second he gets home, I can't fill up my own water bottle. Tolerable.
So
yes, that's very me. Yeah. When Cole like had to go on a trip, like when I was a few weeks pregnant, and I thought it was going to be the end of me. And even if I'm breastfeeding and he's not home, I'm like, crap. I can't have anyone even just like bring me water or something I need.
I know. So trapped. This one says, I adjust to my surroundings and sometimes my personality changes with who I'm with. And some people think this makes me a fake person. But honestly, I think it just makes others more comfortable around me. And sometimes I'm just more reserved or outgoing depending on who I'm with. I totally get that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like people, yeah. I feel like you're just trying to relate to people who are around you. It's, yeah. No, I definitely relate to that.
Definitely not fake.
Yeah. No.
Very tolerable.
Yeah.
This one just said nose picking.
Love it.
Yeah, you're very tolerable. Another one says grammar police.
Toxic.
Just let me live my life. Also because I'm dyslexic.
What?
I've self-diagnosed myself.
Really?
Yeah, like which if someone comes at me and is like, that's not what dyslexic means, maybe I'm just an idiot then. But there are sometimes like words like get very jumbled in my head when reading. That's why I suck at reading stories sometimes. And I forget how to spell basic words. Like I literally will either like text it to my phone and or I'll ask Cole, I'm like, how do you spell restaurant? Like,
but do you see letters like upside down?
No, definitely not upside down. But like, I feel like they jump. Like if I'm reading a story, sometimes I feel like they jump all over the page.
Do they look how it looks when they're on Severance, looking for like those like
searching it out, the numbers? Sometimes, like, or like even just like reading stories, I feel like it just lines will jump up and like it just feels like it hops around sometimes. And and sometimes I get so anxious about having to like read out loud. Like when I was at church, like at staff Bible study, Ed one time was like, "Can you read the verses?" And I just went, "No," because I was like, I refuse to put myself through this stress, like this so full body sweat.
This one says, I love telling people no and offering no explanation. Don't think that's toxic, but the majority of people still have the mindset of it being toxic. Love setting my boundaries and not having to explain why to everyone around me.
Yeah, tolerable.
Yeah.
Last one. The need to be the only one that cleans my house, but complaining that I'm the only one that cleans my house because no one can do it as well as I can, of course. Yeah, that's kind of toxic. I mean, if you're gonna complain.
Yeah, for sure. Take the help.
Yeah.
That you can get at whatever level it's at. Although it would be annoying if you were like, "Hey, can you wipe down the counters?" And then whoever just like wipes it like really badly, and you're like, "Okay.
All right, thanks for that. I'm gonna have to do it anyways."
Do better.
Yeah. He's called you higher. You can do better. All right, that was our last one. I was going to say we have some ideas for upcoming episodes. We've talked briefly about ideas for upcoming episodes, but if you have a specific topic that you want us to talk about,
or if there was a topic that we did in the past that you really liked,
to bring it back.
I feel like we've done a lot of like the
Mommy
story episodes.
Oh, yeah,
in the
yeah.
past that like were really fun and like interesting and crazy.
But we need we don't know if we have the same demographic where we would get the same stories again, or if we have a good pool of people that would offer something different. Yeah. Also, I want to say shout out to the girlies that DM'd us. Mm-hmm. And I know one girl in particular that said she was in Ligonier and was looking for friends. Were you able to meet up with her?
Yes, we haven't met up, but we are going to. I literally need to respond to her actually right now.
I'm like holding you accountable. I'm like, so how was coffee?
We're actually going to go for a walk, okay?
As you should. Is she a mom?
No.
Oh, nice.
But I was like, I have children. So
I like walking.
they gotta be able to hang with us.
Yeah. Well, you should invite me and we'll all hang together.
Yes, I would love that.
But yeah, DM us anytime. We are semi good at responding. Sometimes it will go unanswered for a little bit, but that's okay.
When do you get back? When do you leave for Hawaii?
April 21st.
And when do you get back?
May 1st or 2nd.
So we have to record before you leave next.
So you got to get your ideas in quickly.
Yeah, that is, oh my gosh.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. We love you guys. Thank you so much for listening and submitting stuff as always. And we will see you next time. Bye.